Let me get started. My name is Steve Roberts. I'm with Community Dynamics. We're the builder of the new community called VEO. And if you don't already know, it's just actually down the street from where we are right now. If anyone knows where the Ralph Center is, at the corner of Avalon and Carson Street, it's just to the west of that. And we're really privileged to be here presenting this opportunity to you all tonight. After I speak, Jennifer Pesco will be describing the sales program and specifics of this opportunity in more detail. And then Nick Doe with New American Funding will be describing the loan qualification process that everyone will need to be familiar with. So up front, there's just a few slides to give you the feel of the community we're building, but I'll jump right into it. The opportunity is a total of 23 condominium homes in our new development will be sold exclusively to moderate income households at below market sales prices. There's 1, 2, and 3 bedroom plans, and you can see the range of prices is about under $200,000 to the mid $200,000 range. The reason why there's below market rate homes is when we purchased the property, we purchased it from the city of Carson, and there are a total of 152 units in the community. 15% of those units, pursuant to our purchase agreement, need to be sold to moderate income households according to the restrictions we'll talk about tonight, and that equals the 23 homes. The team involved, myself, I represent Community Dynamics, the builder. CityView is our institutional investor. Our company has been building homes since 1986 throughout Southern California, and pleased to have won many national awards, including this community's won a national award for best site plan in the nation. And CityView, our institutional partner, they've financed homes throughout the United States, I believe in up to 13 different states. New American Funding is a extremely well-respected and credentialed lender. They're a direct lender and very attentive to the detail that it takes to process loans of this type. And Core Group, that's our exclusive sales and marketing team, which Jennifer is a member, and she'll be speaking again tonight. So the community itself, there's a total, as I mentioned, of 152 homes. Just to orient everyone, this is Carson Street here. Ralph's is to the on this side, and we have a total of 9.5 acres. The community, the BMR, the below market rate condominium units, will all be located in the 2 buildings here right up towards Carson Street. Behind those, there are a few amenities that I want to mention. There's a community center with a pool, a spa, there's a fireplace, outdoor barbecue area, really kind of a resort-like amenity. Each of the 2 buildings here will have exclusive lounge patios just for the residents of those homes. It is a gated community. There's entry gates, and these 2 buildings are also mixed use. So at the ground level, there's going to be some commercial uses, and the condominiums are above that. This is a rendering of the pool and spa area. The spa's out of view, but you can see the pool here, an outdoor fireplace. Just wanted to give everyone a sense that it's not just a building that these homes will be located. It's a real community that's been thoughtfully designed and includes some really impressive amenities for the homeowners that all 152 homeowners, including the 23 moderate income families. A few of the features of the condominiums, and I'll show you a couple of floor plans in a moment, but they range for the 1 bedroom starting at about 680 square feet up to about just under 1,400 for the 3 bedroom unit. A lot of thought has gone into the finishes. They've all been designer selected, so everything from your cabinets to the countertops will be very attractive. and in fact the same as the market rate units within the same development. You can see the list there. In the larger units, there's walk-in closets. There's fiber optics going to every home, which means that high bandwidth for anyone that's working from home or just using the internet for whatever reason. And of course, these are condo homes that are elevator served, which if someone needs that, it's certainly an important aspect. And so that's my portion. I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer with and thank you again for your time tonight. I'll be available.
Hi everyone. Let's give Steve a round of applause for introducing VEO to us. So like Steve said, I'm with CORE. I'm the sales associate at VEO. I'm one of the sales associates at VEO. I've spoken to many of you of different questions that you've had, and I'm going to go through the details on how you can buy one of the below market rates. Just so that you know, everything I'm going to go through right now, you're going to get a copy of this inside your application packet, so don't feel like you need to write all of the specifications down right now. You're going to have a copy of them inside your application packet, and it will also be on the website, so you can print these out later on. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the below market rate opportunity. There's, again, 23 homes that are available out of 152 that are affordable housing. They are priced at $188,000 to $240,000 with a square foot of 680 to 1392. The chart that you see here, it breaks it down for you of the available homes by the bedroom sizes. So for one bedroom, we have 9 homes that are available, priced at $188,100 with a square foot of 680. For the 2 bedrooms, we have 9 homes available, priced at $211,900 with a square foot of 1,012. And our 3 bedrooms, we have 5 homes available, priced at $239,900 with a square foot of 1,366. All of these homes are currently under construction, just like Steve said, that they're on Carson Street in Avalon, so I'm sure probably a lot of you have passed by and you've seen our construction going on. They're going to be built in 2 separate phases. So the first phase is going to consist of 13 homes, and they will be ready in spring of 2015. And then our final phase will be complete of the final 10, and those will be ready in fall of 2015. Here are examples of the floor plans that we have. We have our 1 and our 2 bedrooms. As we go further into the process, we will have all of the floor plans available for you to see. So we have the 1 and the 2 bedrooms here, and then we'll have 2 different types of the 3 bedrooms for you to see as well. Program eligibility requirements. So these are the household income limits that is showing you the maximum annual household income. So by the number of the size of the household, this is the maximum amount that you can make annually. So for a household of 1, you have $54,450. For a household of 2, it's $62,200. A household of 3, $70,000. A household of 4, $77,750. And a household of 5, $83,950. This chart is the Los Angeles County chart for this year, 2014. You must be a resident, a U.S. citizen, or have a permanent resident alien status. You must show at least $10,000 in your savings, and the reason for that is to show that you have money for down payment, closing costs, or showing reserves. Creditworthiness, must get a pre-approval from New American Funding, and must attend a first-time home buyer education session. What that is, it's an 8-hour course that will take you through the beginnings from going into escrow to closing escrow, the whole loan process. It'll give you a lot of information that you're going to need and want to know about as you go through this process. So it's a great way that you'll learn from one side, but you'll also learn it from us, from the sales team, and you'll learn it from the lending team as well. This will need to be completed by the time you close escrow, but you don't need to start the class until you are actually in escrow. And then the last thing, for the affordable homes, we will not be working with any brokers, so there won't be any broker commission on the affordable homes, but we will be working with brokers on the remainder. Program agreements. These are the regulatory agreements that we are going to go through in detail with you. As you go through the process and writing up the contract, we will have copies of these and we will go through each one with you. You'll sign them. But I briefly want to explain what those agreements are. So the first thing is the occupancy restrictions. That is that this must be your primary residency. You must live in the home 10 months out of the year, and you cannot lease or rent the home in whole or part without prior written authorization from the city. There will be no investors purchasing, or this will not be your second home. The annual reporting to the city of Carson, what that is that the city will send out a documentation to you every year, basically just wanting to know if there's a new owner occupancy in the home of the affordable homes. So if there is a new owner, they would like to know then the income and the household size. The next thing is the resale terms. I know that everyone is curious about when you buy an affordable house, what do you do when you want to sell your home? So there are certain restrictions that you have buying an affordable home. The first one is the affordability period. There's a 45-year affordability period, which means that if you decide to sell within those 45 years, you must sell to another qualified moderate income buyer, which basically means that they're going to need to go through the same process that you are going through these eligibility requirements. All of these terms that we are going through, they will be recorded on your deed. So if you decide that you want to sell a year from now, 5 years from now, 10, 20 years from now, all this information will be recorded on your deed so you can pull it up and look to see what are the necessary requirements that the next buyer will need to comply with. And lastly, that this is a great investment. For one thing, that you have the mortgage interest tax benefits that you would get, and there's a possibility for a built-up equity on the property when you decide to sell. You know what, actually, we're going to have a Q&A at the very end. We'll go through all of everyone's questions at that time. Thanks. So again, great investment. You get the tax benefits and the possibility of the built-up equity in the home. That would depend on what the current value of the home would be based off of what the moderate income levels are for that current year. So again, before I bring up Nick from New American Funding, I just want to let you know all of these agreements, all of these eligibility requirements that I went through, they are in your packet. They are specified in there for you to read through, and we will go through any questions that you have at the end. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming out here on such a busy traffic day. As Jen mentioned, my name is Nick. I'm a sales manager over at New American Funding. And my team is in the back, ready to answer any specific questions that you may have in terms of the qualification process. As you see here, I personally closed significant amounts of new construction condo projects, and in particular, qualifying borrowers just like yourselves for BMR affordability units as well. The pre-approval process. How do I get qualified with New American Funding for a BMR unit at the VEO? The first thing I want to talk to you folks about tonight is that I don't want you to be discouraged from anything that you've heard so far in terms of the qualification process. Each of you have a unique case-by-case situation, whereas we can walk you through the process. In case you're not quite up to the standards yet required to buy a BMR unit, that's what we're here for. We're here to answer your specific questions and walk you through everything. Because there are minimum thresholds and requirements that you do have to meet. The great first step that you can take is meeting with our team at the end of the assembly. Take 5 to 10 minutes, ask your specific questions at that time, and we'll walk you through the process, exactly what it's going to take to be able to qualify for these BMR units. Renting versus home ownership versus renting. That's the age-old question that we always face nowadays. I assume that a majority of you are renters right now. And in renting, there are advantages in terms of the monthly payments, and there are many more advantages in terms of home ownership. Right now, when you're making a rental fee payment, it goes straight to your landlord. There's very little material benefits from making that payment. However, with home ownership, there's a lot more advantages. For instance, every payment that you actually make goes to the principal of your loan, which means that you're improving equity in your home with every payment that you make. In addition to that, the interest portion of that mortgage payment, it's tax deductible. So is the property tax that you're going to be paying as well. That's tax deductible. So which means at the end of the year when you file your mortgage, you're going to file your tax returns, you're going to see a significant amount of savings at that time. So I want to show you the breakdown of what the figures look like in terms of qualifying for this mortgage. First of all, I want to go over PI. That's the principal and interest payment. That's essentially your mortgage payment on this property. As I said before, the principal payment that you make goes to the equity of your property, it goes back to you. The interest portion is tax deductible. The T is the property tax portion, and this also is tax deductible. The I is homeowner's insurance. This is standard fire insurance. The HOA is another line item fee that we need, and that essentially is the dues for the condo project. Now, the project itself, the HOA dues will cover quite a few of the amenities, such as pool upkeeps, grounds upkeep, okay? The PMI is only applicable for certain programs, and we can walk you through that process as well. It depends on the program that you go into, in addition to the down payment that you put as well. Now, qualifying for the BMR units also require that we take into account utilities as well when we're qualifying you. So all of these together equal your total monthly payment. So I'm going to go over a few examples with you in terms of what these monthly payments look like. The first example here is going to be on a conventional loan. This is going to take into account a 2-bedroom unit. The sales price is $211,900. The square footage is 1,027 square feet, and this is going to be based off of 5% down of the sales price, which equates to $10,595. Taking a very conservative interest rate, a principal and interest payment is going to equate to $1,020 for your mortgage. The property tax is going to be calculated off of 1.23%, which is the amount that's required for the city of Carson. That equates to a monthly payment of $217. The good news is the insurance that I talked to you about before, it's zero. That's actually covered as part of your HOA payment. So the standard hazard insurance, fire insurance, is covered in your monthly HOA due. The PMI, as I said before, varies depending on your particular situation and the amount of down payment that you put in. The utilities for this particular unit is going to be $107. So altogether, the monthly payment on this is going to be $1,855 for this particular example. Another example I want to go over with you is the FHA loan, which is essentially 3.5% down off of the same sales price. So that's going to be $7,417. The monthly payment is significantly lower because typically the FHA interest rate is much better than the conventional interest rate. The property tax insurance HOA stays the same. The private mortgage insurance is a little bit higher than the standard conventional loan. The utility stays the same. And as you see here, there's a correlation between the amount that you put as a down payment versus the little bit higher of amount in terms of the monthly mortgage payment as well. But once again, every unique situation has its own merits, so we will be glad to walk you through each of these situations at the end of the assembly as well. Now, debt to income ratio and essentially what that means to me. Now, Jen went over with you a ceiling in terms of BMR requirements, of income and household requirements. However, to qualify for the BMR units, there's also a bottom that you have to qualify for as well. That's essentially to be able to absorb the mortgage debt and the other items that you saw in terms of home ownership. Okay? Now, once again, I want to make sure that you're not discouraged from what you've seen, because if you're a little bit outside the box right now, our job in the next several months, by the time the condo project is finished to be delivered to you, is to figure a way to get you into a qualifying situation. In addition to that, if you currently do qualify right now, we are here to be a resource to you and to walk you through the process so that if you qualify for right now, for one of these units right now, that you'll still be qualified by the time the project is delivered to you. Okay? And Jen's going to go over the application process with you.
Thank you, Nick. All right, so I know that you guys have received a lot of information right now, and the next things that I'm going to go through is how you're going to fill out your application, how you're going to get this to us, and how you can get that pre-approval done. In order to get your pre-approval done and everything, that's what will then get you onto the priority list to get one of the affordable homes. So this is the application process. You're going to be receiving one of these folders when you leave here. They are at the back tables with the lending team there. Make sure that you pick up one for every family here. And if you lose your application, don't worry. You will be able to either ask us to email it to you, or you can print it off from our website. So we're going to work closely with you to complete this application, to get your pre-approval done. Only completed packets will be accepted. So in order for this packet to be complete, your application will be completely filled out. Your supporting documentation will be turned into the lender team. That would include your W-2s, your tax returns, all of your financial documentation. Make sure that you do submit that as well. There is an item list in here that you can check off to make sure that you have everything done and submitted. And then once you get your pre-approval, that will have everything completed for your application. So once packets are deemed complete, it will then be put onto our priority waiting list. So I cannot stress this enough. The sooner that you get this done and complete, the sooner that you're going to get onto that waiting list for the affordable homes. And then as soon as the homes become available, we will start letting people know who are on that priority list when they will be able to purchase. So filling out your application. Inside here, like I said, you're going to have the details of everything that we went through today, the eligibility requirements. That would be on the right side of your packet. On the left side, that's going to give you detailed instructions on how to fill out this application. And then behind there is the actual application. So I'm going to go through the sections with you so that you can understand what it is that you're going to be filling out. Section 1 is your applicant information. All household members, addresses, phone numbers. Section 2 is asking for a social security, age, relationship to applicant. Section 3 is qualifying questions. First-time buyer, U.S. citizen, property ownership, and income. Number 4 is your credit disclosure. Who's going to be pulling up your credit? Who will you be able to contact regarding any questions about your credit? Number 5, that is the list of all the financial documentation that you will need to submit. And then section 6 is saying that you are verifying that everything is correct in your completed application. So the next steps. Today, you're going to grab an application again from the back. You're going to be able to meet with the lending team. They will be able to answer any specific questions that you have. They could also start setting up appointments with you to do one-on-one, going through all of your financial documents, credit history, and then be able to start telling you what kind of loan programs that you may be able to qualify for. They're going to have walk-in appointments Monday through Friday from 12 to 5. If you need appointments outside of that time, obviously you can contact them to set up appointments for the after hours. So our open registration, it's going to start tomorrow. We had an assembly last Saturday, and everyone is not able until tomorrow to start submitting in their application. We wanted to make it fair because we were having our last assembly today to you, and we want to get this detailed information, explain it to you before you start filling out your application. So the application period is from June 27th to August 1st. August 1st is your deadline to get everything into us. But again, the sooner that you get this in, the sooner that you're going to get on that priority waiting list. So the steps: fill out your application. Step 2, get your pre-approval and submit everything by August 1st. Again, all of this information, all of the packet will be online at www.veobmrhomes.com. So here is where you can submit all of your packet information. You can either submit it in person, by mail, or email. This is the address for New American Funding. That's where you're going to be sending it to. Do not send it to the site. We don't have our sales center open there yet, so no one will be able to pick up your packet from the sales site. It will need to be dropped off at New American Funding, and you can send it to attention with my name, with Nick's name, or any of the New American Funding team that you're going to meet behind you. Once August 1st happens, we're going to have a 45-day internal review. That's basically just to make sure that everything is done and verified, that you meet all the requirements, that you have the pre-approval, and then that you are put onto that priority list. So once your packet is deemed complete by the sales team and the lending team, it will go onto that priority list. And of course, the sooner that you get it into us, the sooner that we can get the pre-approval and put onto the list. And then in September, we're going to notify the buyers who are on that priority list when they will be able to purchase, if they will be able to purchase, and we will start writing contracts in September. All right, so now we're coming to the frequently asked questions. These are some questions that some of you have come up and asked me, or some of the questions that we were thinking that people may come up with themselves. After this, then we're going to have it open to everyone so that we'll have a Q&A. So any other questions that you may have that we didn't answer here, we'll be able to answer them. So number 1, do I have to live in Carson to qualify? No, you do not. Do I have to be a first-time homeowner to buy? No, you do not.
Next question. What if I'm a one-person household and make less than the required $50,000? It's a great question. Everyone, once again, has its own merits in terms of the case-by-case situation. It also depends on the amount of down payment that you have, the amount of debt that you carry on a monthly basis. So once again, I encourage you to talk to our team in the back to see where you fit in terms of that box. What if I don't have the $10,000 in savings right now? Another great question that we've been asked. If you do not have the $10,000 minimum requirement right now, we're still encouraging you to qualify. Now, although we do say it's $10,000, we also have a lot of down payment assistance programs, a lot of closing costs payment assistance programs that we can, if you qualify, we can work it in for you.
Next, how do you determine the household number? Well, that will be determined by the number that you put on your application, and then we will confirm that from your previous tax returns.
I've had a shaky credit history recently. What kind of score is expected of me to be eligible? Now, the good news is, qualifying for the BMR unit, there is no minimum credit requirement. However, qualifying for the loan does. But once again, we do have access to a lot of lower down payment and as well as lower credit requirement programs that we can access on a case-by-case basis if you qualify for them. What do you look for in terms of employment history? Now, when we're looking and qualifying employment history, not only do we take into account the current job that you're in right now, we take into account a 2-year history of what you have done leading up to that job. So we look at the entire spectrum just from the past 2-year history. Can one of my parents co-sign for me in order to qualify? Unfortunately, you cannot. However, once again, on a case-by-case basis, if one of your parents are going to be occupying the property with you and therefore is going to be accounted for the household and the income requirement, then yes, they can co-sign for you. But if they intend just to be a non-occupant co-bar and just co-sign for you to qualify, unfortunately the BMR unit, it doesn't qualify for that. Are there any down payment assistance programs out there to help me buy? Yes, as I mentioned before, we have access to a number of down payment assistance programs, closing cost assistance program, lower FICO score assistance program, if you do qualify. That kind of really correlates with the BMR unit. I'm expecting a job promotion or bonus in a few months. Can I apply or now or wait? First of all, let me congratulate you on that new promotion or bonus. Yes, I definitely encourage you to qualify and to submit your application to qualify as soon as possible. This question ties in with the employment history question because, like I said, is we don't just take into account what you're doing right now, but what you've been doing for the last 2 years leading up to your current job.
Can I use my own lender or realtor? So this is a two-part question. Everyone must get pre-approved by New American Funding, but you can close with the lender of your choice. Just so that you know, New American Funding has been working on the building for months to get all of the necessary requirements in order to close and to get the loans on VEO. And as you know, we're not working with brokers on VEO for the BMR homes, but we are going to be working with them for the remainder of the other 29 homes, the market rate homes. Do I share in the appreciation of the property if I decide to sell in the future? Yes, you do. Just like when I was talking about the resale terms, if the economy is still doing well and appreciation goes up, it will all depend on the moderate income levels for that current year. So if you decide that you want to sell 5, 15 years from now and the appreciation has gone up, all of that built up equity will go to you. If my income goes up after I close, am I at risk of losing my home? No, you are not. If your income goes up, great. If you get a salary promotion, great, but you will not lose your home. You are qualifying right now for the specific terms, so that is what it is for when you for the future of the home. You will not lose it. All right. So now we're opening it up to the Q&A. Any other questions that you may have that we didn't answer? We're opening it up to you, to everyone right now.